Hi guys, this is Manoj here. Am I audible? Okay guys, let's get started. Okay, so here guys, you will see here in the slides what we are going to cover today. Okay, so are going to cover first what is DevOps, what is CI/CD pipelines, why pipelines are being used, what is continuous delivery and deployment models, what is the role of a Jenkins, what is the role of a Docker, and what is the hands-on are there. So guys, these are the topics are there which we'll be covering. So first, let me start what is a DevOps. Okay, so guys, to understand what is the DevOps, first we have to understand what is the SDLC lifecycle. Okay, so guys, software development lifecycle is a lifecycle which is nothing but a backbone of software development. When you go for any project, whether it's a greenfield project as in it's a new project, okay, whether it's a enhancement project, maintenance project, you have to apply SDLC lifecycle to develop your software or to maintain your software. Okay, and what are the different phases of SDLC lifecycle is there? Different phases of SDLC lifecycle is there like requirement gathering, design, development, deployment, testing, and maintenance. These are different SDLC lifecycle phases are there. Okay, these are different SDLC lifecycle phases are there. Okay, now whenever we develop any software, we need these phases. Along with this SDLC lifecycle, guys, we need to follow one of the delivery model. So guys, what waterfall model says is that you follow this SDLC life cycle as water flows. So water flows from top to bottom, it flows as a whole. Okay. For example, in this life cycle, if I take an example of a project, that project has 6 months of timeline is there. Okay, let's say 6 modules are there. So what I must be doing is I must be doing requirement gathering for all the 6 module together, design for all the 6 modules together, development for all the 6 modules together, deployment for all the 6 modules together, and testing is all the 6 modules together. That waterfall model says you do everything as a whole. Now suppose guys, out of 6 months of time, okay, requirement gathering has consumed 1 month of time, development has consumed 1 month of time, development has consumed 1 month of time, deployment has consumed 1 month of time. By the time we'll be entering into the test, okay, we would have lost 4 to 5 months of time out of 6 months of time. Now suppose in the testing phase you get to know a major defect is there, so you will not have time to fix it, because by the time you entering into the testing phase, you would have lost 4 to 5 months. To fix a defect, if you need major design change or a development change or a deployment change, you will not have time to fix it. Okay, you will not have time to fix it. So this model leads to a bad delivery because we are not getting correct feedback or quicker feedback on time. So on time feedback we are not getting. Okay, feedback we are not getting a quicker feedback. Okay, we are not getting because of this particular ways of working. Okay, so over a period of time people started thinking, okay, how we can overcome this problem, and we come to a delivery model which solves our most of the problem. So guys, SDLC life cycle is like, Newton's law. You can't change it, it's there means it's there, you can't change it. We have to, okay, stay with it or leave it with it. Now what we can change is we can change the delivery model. So people have adopted a different delivery model called agile methodologies. So what agile methodology says is, instead of going with this entire life cycle, we can go with chunks. Okay, I mean, we don't follow waterfall model. If I have same example, multiple modules are there, so what I must be doing is I must be implementing one module at a time, or I'll be running SDLC lifecycle for one module at a time. Okay, for example, requirement gathering, design, development, deployment, testing, okay, and maintenance. Okay, so all these phases we will be working, okay, for one module at a time. Okay, we'll be completing one module at a time. Once we will fix all the problem, I mean, once we'll complete one module, if you get to know any other problems are there, you can club with the another life cycle of another module. and then another module. Okay, so we are not piling up all of our problems for a futuristic state. We are gradually fixing them, and at a point in time when we are completing all the life cycles, okay, we will be fixing all the defects. And this life cycle duration is 2 to 3 weeks of time or 3 to 4 weeks of time. In agile ways of working, we are calling it as a sprint. So what is the benefit with this particular agile methodology? Is that we are getting on time feedback. Okay, so with agile methodologies, after every module I'm getting a feedback, so I'm getting actually quicker feedback. Okay, that is the benefit if I will get into this particular model. I'm getting quicker feedback with the agile methodologies. Okay, now guys, how we can proceed is, agile methodology solves our most of the problems. It doesn't mean that it is fixing our most of the problems. The biggest problem comes in theoretically agile methodologies fixes our problem, but you see that here, to do the development, to do the deployment, to do the testing, we have couple of kind of months time is there, 6 months of time is there. Okay, so if you want, you can increase your development cycle, you can increase your deployment cycle, you can increase your test cycle, you can adjust it accordingly. But when you come to the agile methodologies, you can see that, okay, you have to finish everything in 3 to 4 weeks of time or 2 to 3 weeks of time based on your sprint. Okay, now let's say in each and every sprint I have to do couple of deployments, couple of testing, okay, maintenance. So that is the biggest challenge. Okay, so as compared to waterfall to agile, the biggest challenging is timings. Okay, and agile methodologies is a good model when you are able to complete your sprint on time. If you are not able to complete your sprint on time, means again you are back to the square, back to the place wherein you started. Okay, we will not have kind of good control over the project. Now if I have to complete my entire life cycle within 3 to 4 weeks of time, so I have to focus on multiple things. I have to automate the problems which are faced by developers and which are faced by operation people. So what operation guys are saying is, hey, you have reduced your timelines, but you are making your things in very faster ways. Can you automate deployments so that I can do deployments whenever your guys wants? Can you automate my testing so that after deployment I can do the automation of the testing? Okay, can you do improvement on the environment maintenance side, because you are touching my environment very often, very rapidly. Okay, and can you make my environments more simulated? Okay, environment simulation. Okay, so when I'll do a testing on different environments, I will not see the surprises. These are the ask is there from operation team. Okay, so one way is like we can automate this ask. This is the ask from ops team. Okay, so what we can do is we can automate this ask. Good. Okay, now what developers guys are saying that good that you reduce the timeline, but because you are giving me very less number of time, okay, so I'm not sure whether my code quality is being managed. Okay, whether my code is up to the mark or not, my code coverage is up to the mark or not. Code coverage means each and every line of code, are we writing the unit test cases or not? Okay, that is called code coverage. Okay, is up to the mark or not. Next, okay, my compilations or builds are up to the mark or not. My package creation is up to the mark or not. These things developers wants to be automated. Good, we will automate that part also. Okay, so this is the ask for the ops team, this is the ask for dev team. If I will just automate their part, so if I will automate ops part and dev team part, would you think our most of the problems are solved, or still something else has to be done? Guys, if they don't work collaboratively, okay, still they work in silos, do you think we can achieve this 2 to 3 weeks of timeline? Both should work together, right guys? Without collaboration it cannot be possible, right guys? Okay, so how we can achieve that model? They should work as a team, right guys? Okay, so they should work as a team, guys, and that is how DevOps has come into the picture. Okay, they should work as a team, not a separate team. Okay, dev should be responsible for at some extent ops problems. Ops should be responsible for your dev problems. Okay, now in short, if I will say, agile and DevOps both goes hand in hand. Okay, agile and DevOps both goes hand in hand. Without agile you will not see power of DevOps, and without DevOps you will not see power of agile. Let's say you implement agile and you don't have automation in place, okay, culture in place of working together, then agile cannot be successful. Now in waterfall model, if you automate everything in DevOps world, then waterfall model will not give you benefit. Let's say you are deploying once in 6 months of time or once in 3 months of time, so you will not have time to automate it. I mean, okay, you will not see a kind of power of DevOps. Okay, so agile and DevOps both goes hand in hand. Okay, so who is responsible for the automation? Initially DevOps team will be responsible for the automation. Once the culture will develop, your script will be developed, then your dev and ops team can kind of contribute, or they can share the responsibilities and they both will be responsible. So guys, now when we talk about DevOps, so if someone will ask you what is the definition of a DevOps, so DevOps is nothing but a culture and a mindset which is followed by some of the automation tools. Okay. Now when you implement the automation tools, guys, you should know where to implement what. For that we have DevOps principles are there, different DevOps principles are there. For example, we have continuous integration, okay, then continuous delivery or deployment, and continuous monitoring, testing, monitoring also, which in terms gives feedback to the person as a continuous feedback. So continuous integration, continuous delivery, deployment, actually they passes feedback also. Okay, now guys, our core topic is the pipeline, CI/CD pipeline. So I will focus more on these two, guys. So now guys, let me do one thing. Now, since we are going very fast, instead of 6 months of timeline, we are going with 3 to 4 weeks of timeline to develop a module. So what is expected is that, okay, we should provide more and more feedback to the developer when he checks in the code to the version control system, so that we can get rid out of the problems of having more defects into the production. For example, this is my version control system is there. And now as a developer, I'm sitting somewhere. This is a developer. Okay, this is my version control system is there. The moment I will check in the code into the version control system. So what kind of feedback I can given to a developer? Okay, so what kind of feedback can be provided to him? What we can check is whether his unit test cases are getting passed or not, his code coverage is getting passed or not. Okay, and whether code quality is getting passed or not, whether their builds or compilations are getting passed or not, and then finally the packaging is happening or not. Okay, these kind of feedbacks can be given to them. Now guys, tell me one thing, if I have to give this feedback, so what is the best way? I should run them parallelly or I should run them sequentially, as in once this guy will pass, I will move to this guy, then I'll move to this guy, then I'll move to this guy. What is the best way, parallel or sequential? Guys, a parallel if I will do, then how I'll get to know, okay, what is the dependencies? Maybe one process is, I mean, so out of these four process, guys, I will not allow my build to happen if a single process fails. Okay, in that case, I cannot go parallelly. I have to go sequentially only. If one passes, then I will do a second thing, then third thing, then fourth thing, right? If everything is important, I should go with sequentially. If one or two things are important, I can go with the parallelly. Right, guys? This step has to happen in the last. Okay, if I'll do a parallel, probably this step will happen, but this step will fail. then overall my entire process will be failing, right? Right, so we will go with the sequential. Now guys, when I go for a sequential ways of working, okay, does it make sense to tie them as a part of the same pipeline? Okay, like first this guy has to be tied up, or this guy has to be tied up, or leave it like when we get the water from the water tank, how it comes to us? It comes through a pipeline, right guys, wherein multiple pipes are tied together, right? So we have to tie them as a pipeline. Then pipeline is a very important feature of whatever tools, okay, it must be working. So if I'll make this process like wherein for developer each check-in I'm giving this feedback, okay, will it encourages developer to check in more, check in very often? Yeah, it gives confidence. See guys, I will not say that 100% we will remove the defects, but at max we can remove the defects, right? Right guys, agree? Okay, so the process which encourages people to check in more, check in very often, we are calling it as a continuous integration. Okay, now guys, continuously someone is getting integrated, and then our pipeline is invoking these kind of particular audit processes, which gives the confidence to the developer. Now guys, this version control system could be anything, isn't it? So whatever tool we'll be using for continuous integration, that should have two things. It should have power to make a pipeline, okay, and it should have power to have, okay, integration with any version control system, right guys? These two things are essential, isn't it guys? These two things are essential for the tool. Okay, so which is the tool is there which is known as a best continuous integration tool in the market? So guys, Jenkins is a tool is there, okay, Jenkins is a tool is there, okay, which actually helps you, give both the features to you. So guys, Jenkins is known to be a best continuous integration tool because it has integration to any version control system, and it has a pipeline properties there which helps to connect each and every process together. But guys, what is there in the Jenkins which helps you to integrate with any version control system, or in the pipeline it helps you to integrate with any sort of third party processes like code coverage, code quality, builds, packages? What makes Jenkins very powerful? Plugins, right guys? Plugins. Okay, so plugins are the kind of important feature of a Jenkins. Okay, for example, this is the Jenkins pipeline is there, so it has to connect to test code coverage, so it should have a plugin to connect to code coverage, it should have a plugin to connect to code quality. Plugins are nothing but guys, there is a program which actually has a compatibility. I mean, if you want to connect a mobile phone uh, with a Bluetooth, then you should have a Bluetooth plugin installed in your mobile operating system. Okay. If you want to connect through some any other processes, you should have that particular compatibility in your mobile. So same way, Jenkins has a power of plugin. More than 3,000 plugins they have in their inventory, Jenkins official inventory, and you can write your own plugin also. Okay. So this is continuous integration process. Now let's talk about continuous delivery or deployment process. So guys, once our CI is passed, then it's time to deploy our code. First, we will deploy our code into the dev environment. Then we deploy in QA environment. I mean, we'll go for a testing. Then we go for a QA environment. Then we'll go for a prod environment. Then we'll go for a pre-prod environment. And then we will go for a prod environment. When we move our code from pre-prod to the prod environment, okay, do we need any approvals? So guys, we cannot move our code from pre-prod to the prod without any approval, because when you do a deployment, it might require some downtime. Okay, and when your website is on, if you want to do a downtime, I mean, you have to definitely approach to the business, and they will approve your kind of downtime. But guys, Facebook does 2,000 deployments in a day. Do you think they need a downtime, or they need a management approval? Or have you seen anytime Facebook is down? Or what do you think? Facebook goes 2,000 times to their management to get their changes approved? It's not possible, right? Okay, so guys, in the DevOps world, okay, there is a process is there which tells that Okay, if your your pipeline is passed, like pre-prod testing is passed, if you make your process automated without approval, you can go to your production environment. So there are two terms are there, guys. If you goes to the production environment, if you goes to the production environment without any approval, okay, if you goes to the environment without any approval process, if you goes to the production environment without any approval process, we are calling it as a continuous deployment process. Okay, if you move to your production environment with approval process, okay, with approval process, we are calling it as a continuous delivery process. So guys, industry goal is to move to a continuous deployment process. I understand in the industry 99.99% companies, they are in the continuous delivery process, but our goal is to enter into the continuous deployment process. Okay, the moment we will make everything, that is the day when DevOps is actually implemented in your environment, okay, without any manual intervention. Good guys, concept wise good, but if I want to make this process automated from dev to testing, again I have to bind these phases in a pipe, right? Dev testing or QA deployment, QA testing, pre-prod deployment, pre-prod testing, and then moving to the prod. Do I need to stitch them together in a single pipeline or not? If I have to make this process seamless and automated, right guys, I need to stitch them in a pipeline. So again guys, here it's a pipeline is an important factor. Okay, I need to stitch them in a pipeline. Okay, first it will allow to deploy my code into the dev environment, and then it will allow do a testing for my environment, then it will allow to deploy into the QA environment, followed by testing, and then we goes to the pre-prod environment, and then it goes for a testing, and then finally it goes to the prod environment, right? So again guys, here the two things are important. Okay, the first thing important is a pipeline concept, which is important. Second thing is plugin. Probably for deployment, I'm using XYZ tool. For doing testing, I'm using XYZ tool. Okay. So to again connect with a third party tool, I need to have some integration available, integration using plugins. So again, guys, the important factor to enable this CI/CD is CI/CD pipelines, which has integration with all the third party tools. Okay, that's the reason guys, pipeline is very important aspect of your DevOps, right? Guys, in CI/CD, which is the most important feature which we are using, pipelines is the most important feature, and how we are enabling pipelines to integrate with third party tools using plugins. Okay, so pipeline could be from any tool guys. Jenkins is the most famous tool, but you can have Azure pipeline, Azure DevOps pipeline, you can have AWS DevOps pipeline. Okay, nowadays Git has also come with its own pipeline that we are calling it as a GitOps. GitLab has its own pipeline. Okay, and if I'll talk about other tools, Google DevOps, okay, they have their own pipeline is there. So guys, like when we make a pipeline, guys, multiple ways are there by which you can pipeline. Let me pick up a basic pipeline. Okay, let's assume that we have one job is there for testing or unit testing purpose. One is for code coverage, one is for code quality, one is for builds, one is for packaging. So guys, what I'll do is I will tell you how many ways we can create this pipeline, since our topic is based out of pipeline. So what I'll do is I will go to the Jenkins, and let me tell you something about Jenkins. So this tool is a kind of the best orchestration tool is there. And what do you mean by orchestration? Guys, when a orchestra people, when they sing a song and the backend team is playing the music, do you see any changes in their behavior if they're sing that song once, twice, or 10 times, or they're almost same? There's no change if you run one time or two time or three time. All are in sync. Okay. So guys, orchestration is nothing. Orchestration is an activity which makes multiple things work in a particular rhythm or sync. Okay, that's why Jenkins is called as orchestration. If Jenkins, if you develop any pipeline or something, if you run once, twice, or 10 times, everything will be in sync. Okay, you will get the same output, same type of output as you run for one time, two time, and three time, and four time. Okay, so multiple orchestration tools are there, guys. Okay, Jenkins is nothing but it's a continuous integration orchestration tool. So guys, pipeline capability is there that I will tell you. Okay, but when you go to the Jenkins, go to the manage Jenkins section, then guys there is a place is there we can see manage plugins. Okay, if you go to this manage plugins guys, okay, there is available section is there. If you want to integrate any of the third party product as a part of your pipeline, okay, you will have plugin here. You just name me some of the product, I will show you the plugin. Yeah, Jenkins is a continuous integration tool, but because of pipeline feature, Jenkins can be used for deployment purposes also. Guys, what you are integrating in continuous integration? You are integrating version control system, right? So Jenkins has a plugin for that. Okay, guys, let me search here Bitbucket. Okay, you can see here Bitbucket. I have a plugin is there. Let me search AWS. I have a plugin is there. Azure. Let me search. I have a plugin is there. GCP. I have or Google DevOps. Okay, I have plugin is there. So you just name it. We have plugins are there. Whatever plugins are required for you, you can install it. Okay, like I have installed multiple plugins for my own purposes. So these many plugins are being installed. Okay, let's say if you have an aspiration to develop your own products, okay, own plugins, you can go to the advanced section. Okay, we have something called upload plugin section is there, wherein you can upload all the plugins. Now, apart from that, guys, at the moment I'm running this Jenkins in the raw network, but if in your company network, if you have any proxies being configured, you have to pass your proxy here to make it work. Fine. So guys, the most powerful feature of the Jenkins is its pipeline feature. Okay. Now what I'll do is I will create some dummy jobs, 4 or 5 dummy jobs, and then I will connect them together, and then I will show you how a pipeline looks like. Okay, so guys, in Jenkins we have two ways of working is there, okay, to make a pipeline. So let me write down so that you should know what is the importance of the pipeline. So Jenkins has traditional pipeline is there, okay, and Jenkins has scripted pipeline is there. Okay, so what I'll do is I will take the same example for traditional pipeline and I'll take the same example for scripted pipeline. Okay, then I will ask you the difference. What is the difference between both type of pipelines? So let me go to a new item. New item is nothing but a job which I'm going to create. In my diagram, let's say this test is nothing but a job. Okay, so let me create a job called test, unit test. Okay, and then I will go in the last and apply, save it. Okay, so now I'll go and create a new project, new item. I will create here, what is my next code coverage. Okay, at the moment guys, I'm not feeding any details because I just know to show you the prototype. Now I'll go here and then I'll create a new item. Okay, and with my example code quality, freestyle project, apply, save it. Okay, new item if I'll go. Okay, with my pipeline builds and packaging are other jobs, builds, freestyle project. Okay, apply, save it. Now next job I will create, packaging job, freestyle project. I've created this, apply, save it. Now guys, I have created 5 jobs, but I need to put them in a category. So if I'll go to this plus sign, I have a view is there called list view. Okay, here I should mention my jobs for September. Okay, I just mentioned which are the jobs are there which I created for 1st September. It'll list over there. So I know the jobs which are probably, if I'll search with 1st September, no, it's not giving me. 1st September, this job is there. 1st September, 1st September. Yeah, this one. So I've applied them as a part of my list. So you can see here in this my job 1st September, I have all the 4 jobs which are listed. Okay, but still I want to get a feel of this pipeline, like after this guy should be triggered, then this guy should be triggered, then this guy, then this guy. So what I'll do is I'll go to this guy. The first job is unit test case 1st September. I will go its configuration, and then we have something called post build action is there. If I'll go to the post build action, I will go here and I'll say build other project. So it will do nothing. It will connect this job to this job. So I'll say here code coverage 1st September job. Okay, so now this unit test cases will be triggering my 1st September job. Now I'll go to my 1st September job, I'll go to its configuration, and then my next job is code quality. So I'll go to post build action, I'll go to code quality, build other project, code quality 1st September, apply, save it. Okay, now you can see guys, for this code coverage job, it will be triggered by unit test case 1st September and will be triggering code quality. After code quality, okay, I have build jobs are there, so I will configure it with the builds job. Save. Okay, I'll go to the builds job and then I will go to its a configuration, and then I'll go to the post build action, and then I will build other project called package for September job. Okay, apply, save it. Now guys, I have all the jobs are connected to each other, just I have to make them visualize as a pipeline. So what I'll do is I will go to Jenkins, I will go to this plus sign again. Here we have a view is there called build pipeline view. So guys, how it's coming, because I have installed a plugin called build pipeline. Okay, which plugin is allowing me to have this view? I will say my pipeline 1st September. Okay, now I need to select which is my first job is there in my pipeline. So first job is unit test cases. Okay, so select initial job. Okay, our first job, our job is unit test cases 1st September. Apply. Okay, okay, you can see that a pipeline type will be triggered when I'll do the first run. If I'll do a first run, you can see a pipeline view has come. This guy will be triggering this guy, then this guy will be triggering this guy, then this guy and this guy, right? Isn't it interesting guys? Right, you can see here one job is triggering another job. Okay, now guys, at the moment I took a vanilla job, I didn't actually configure a unit testing or code coverage or a code quality. Okay, I just use a plain vanilla job. Okay, now guys, how much time it took for me to create this job? If one job fails, so get say guys, this job fails, then what we will do is this job will send a notification to the people like who you want to send, and then rest of the pipeline will be blocked. It will not go for that particular run. So okay, so guys, in your train or a pipeline, if somewhere leakage is there, will the water would be passed to the end user or not? If there is a leakage in the pipeline, would it pass water to the end user or not, or it will break then and there only, right? So guys, that is the intention. If this guy fails code coverage, it will not go to the next guys. Okay, so this is nothing but a pipeline concept is there guys, which is very interesting. But how much time it took for me to create this pipeline guys? Or in 5 to 6 minutes, right? I'll show you another ways of working a pipeline. Let me pick up some code. So guys, let me pick up this code. Okay, and you can see the time guys. Okay, I'm writing this code here. Okay, so guys, what I'm doing is node is nothing but this is a concept is there to to start your pipeline. I mean, this is nothing but a scripted pipeline. Instead of connecting the jobs and connecting to jobs, creating the jobs to each other, you can write them as a part of code also. We call this concept as a pipeline as a code. You are converting the code into a pipeline. Okay, for that again one plugin is there. Okay, what is that plugin is? Okay, if I'll go to the manage plugins, we have a plugin is there for that. Okay, which I installed here. That plugin is called pipeline plugin. Okay, this pipeline plugin is installed. It makes this Jenkins capable to allow you to make pipeline as a code. Code pipeline will be converted as a code. There are some certain syntaxes are there. Instead of a job name, you can write a stage, and underneath your job you can write whatever you want. Like you want to check out from GitHub, I'm just passing a stakeholder, okay, sorry, placeholder, but you can write something by your own also. Okay, I mean you can there are some syntaxes are there by which you can check out the code. Okay, for example, let's say if I go here in Jenkins, I will go to the new item. I'll say my pipeline. I will go pipeline type of job. You can see here I'm not selecting freestyle. I'm creating pipeline type of job. Okay, here you will not see multiple options, build other project, git here. Okay, you are getting only pipeline options. So if I'll go here, you have to write your code here. Okay, in the groovy form. If you don't know the syntaxes, probably you can use this particular synopsis. Okay, wherein what you want to do, you want to check out a code or you want to print statement. Okay, my first pipeline you want to pass. So what it will do is it will convert your code into the groovy syntax. Okay, this is my first, whatever you want to do. Okay, you want to print a message, you want to build a job, whatever you want, project name, my first project, anything you want. Okay, and then if you want to create, convert it, it will convert. Okay, whatever you want, it will convert into it. Okay, error signal, whatever. So I'll not go in detail because our topic is not scripted pipeline. What I'm trying to say is if you want to know how this works, Google, lot of help is there, you can create it. For example, I'm taking this very simple example. Okay, so I'm taking the very simple example. Node is nothing but it's representing your Jenkins machine. Stage is nothing but your job. Okay, in stage you return something. Probably I can make multiple stages, stage 1, stage 2, stage 3. Okay, I can write them, the name of the stage is as our pipeline is. Okay, unit test cases, code coverage. Now you can see the time, guys, how much time I take. Unit test case, okay, coverage, code coverage, code quality, code coverage, code quality. Okay, and then we have builds are there, packages are there, packages are there, and my pipeline is ready. With less than a minute, my pipeline is ready. The same pipeline which I created for my other purposes, apply, save it, and if I'll run here, build now, you'll see that this pipeline is ready. Unit test cases, code coverage, code quality, builds package, everything I've created as a pipeline as a code within 30 seconds. So good saving is there. Fine, guys. So how much time we have saved, guys, as compared to the traditional pipeline versus this pipeline as a code? 90% of our time we have saved it. Now, guys, if you want to extend this pipeline to deploy an environment, probably you can write something, like after this, all these stages, you will have a deployment stage, you will have a dev deployment, or you will have pre-prod deployment. Okay, then you will have testing, and then prod deployment you will have. So you can easily extend this pipeline. Okay, then you will have testing. Okay, and then you will have prod deployment. Okay, sorry, there is some issue in our pipeline. 1 minute. Okay, if I'll run this guy this time, it will take my pipeline to why it's failing. Okay, syntax error, guys. Let me fix it quickly. Yeah, so you can see here, this is the extended pipeline for me. But guys, is this pipeline is a continuous delivery process or it's a deployment process? What I made it? It's a deployment pipeline. Let's make it as a delivery pipeline. Let's put some approval processes. Okay, so let's pick up our pipeline, which is 1st September pipeline example. Okay, let me put some approval process in between. So guys, there are some syntaxes are there, groovy syntaxes. With the help of that, you can put some approval processes. So what I'm doing is I'm putting a stage here for the approval process, okay, to give you the approvals. Okay, if I'll run this pipeline, you will see now it will ask for the approval. Okay, if you go here, it is asking that are you okay to go for production. Okay, it's asking are you okay to go for approval for prod or not. Okay, a business guy can approve or not. I can approve it, I can proceed it. Why it's not happening? You can see here it's approved. Yeah, are you okay to approve it? We are okay to approve it and it's approved. Yeah, you can see it reached to the production also. So guys, this is good, this view is good, but we have one more view is there, guys. There is a plugin is there called Blue Ocean plugin. Okay, if you go to this guy, you will have a fantastic review is there, view is there of such pipeline view. Okay, so if I'll go here and run the same pipeline, then you can see such pipeline, you can show it to your management also. If you run it here, if you open it, okay, it says are you okay to approve it. You see before approval process it says are you okay to approve it. Okay, so this is very good visualization is there. If you want to get it approved by your management, you can ask your management please approve it, and this way they will understand also if they are not technical also. I'm okay to approve it. Okay, and you will see it's approved and your code has gone to the production. Okay, so this is the new ways of working, guys. World is moving towards this new ways of working. This pictorial representation is very good. So like again guys, how we got this pictorial presentation? Because plugins are there. I just given you one example. There are different type of plugins are there. Okay, there is a company called 𝐶loudbees are there. They have created this plugin. I just installed it. I can show you in Jenkins also. Okay, this plugin is installed. Let me show you 1 minute. Okay, if I go to manage plugins, okay, if I go to the plugin section, guys, there is a plugin is there. I didn't create it, I just installed it. It was there in the this thing, I mean Blue Ocean plugin. So that's all guys from my side, and have a great career ahead. Bye for now.